This could talk, boy, it would be a wrap. They be making some real money right now, boy. I'm telling you. Telling you. So let's go ahead and jump into it. The Bears, Chicago 2022 season. This is the worst record we talked about all year long from last year. That's crazy. We done reviewed three divisions, and we didn't have one team as bad as this team. This team went 3-14, and what was it, Jeff? They lost the last what was it, 11 in a row?
They
Because they
beat
were
the
3-2 at one point, right?
they
Right?
beat they beat the Patriots as 9-point underdogs on that Monday night. That was Justin
Right.
Fields' coming out party, and they didn't win again.
Yeah, and that was pretty bad. That you have a team that had all this potential going into the season, and they got this surefire court. They got this young gunner quarterback that's supposed to ascend them to winning because he's supposed to carry them, literally carry them, and it just couldn't happen. And by him having such a great fantasy season, everybody backed up on judging him too hard because he helped a lot of people win their fantasy leagues. But everybody understood that they put him in a position not to win.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have receivers. You had a running back that is very inconsistent in Montgomery, who's now with your rival in Detroit. And then the thing that the Chicago lacked that was a very, very telling situation of the Chicago Bears last year, Jeff, the defense was atrocious. I've never sat there and saw Chicago be that bad of a defense week in and week out. And it was really sad to see the monsters of the Midway become the puppies of the Midway. You know what I mean? The punks of the Midway. When you think about the Chicago Bears, you think about a tough, rough group of men. It doesn't even matter what year it is with the Chicago Bears. They always been rough around the edges. But last year, that was one of the softest situations I've ever seen with the Bears. Period. And I know it was embarrassing because I seen the Bears have bad seasons before, but that was an embarrassing season because literally they went into every game and you knew they were going to lose after that Patriots game. And they had games where it was like they literally just were like, we're going to refuse to win. And when you have a team that's just refusing to win the game, it's really upsetting to the crowd. They didn't gave you every opportunity to win the game, but here we are losing. Great example, Buffalo game. They had the Buffalo game won 6 times and couldn't figure it out and wind up losing. So, there's just a lot of things that say to me that I think we're being a little bit ahead of the curve a little bit here in Chicago. 7.5 wins, Jeff. So you're telling me they'll improve by 5 more wins than they did last year? I don't know about that. I see odds for plus 360. This team went 3-14 last year, Jeff. Why are we sitting here giving them all the grace in the world? I just don't understand that part. Clue me in.
It's because we always talk about this. You buying the sizzle or you buying the steak. So people want to compare Justin Fields to Jalen Hurts, and they want to take the jump that Jalen made and compare it to now what the expectations are of Justin Fields. Now, for Jalen to make that jump, it was A.J. Brown. It was Devontae Smith. It was a better offensive line. It was a better running back core, and obviously a lot better defense. And you could probably say a lot better coaching as well. So what has Chicago, who had the worst offensive line in the game, what have they done this offseason? Well, let me see. David Montgomery now on the Lions. Khalil Herbert gets the #1 spot. They draft Roschon Johnson out of Texas, who was behind Bijan Robinson. They add DJ Moore, not A.J. Brown, DJ Moore. Another year of Darnell Mooney. There was some chemistry with Fields to commit the second half of the year. The problem is their offensive line is still not good in comparison to the Eagles, and their defense is still pretty damn bad. That 700, that 7.5 numbers there for a reason, though. Don't forget, no Aaron Rodgers. And don't forget the Vikings, who 2 years ago were the worst team in the NFL in one possession games to the best. So they're expecting regression from the Vikings, regression from the Packers, and everyone's already anointed the Lions as the division winner. I love Fields this year. I think he does make the next step. Uh, I love the addition to DJ Moore. I think Mooney will be better. I do like the Herbert Roshan Johnson backfield. I think the number's pretty close, Pops. I could see a 7-10. I could see an 8-9. The plus 360 should be around plus 500. And
Yeah.
like the Steelers, I would jump on it. I'm not going to say, I'm going to say this. Don't count the Bears out. But I think they're overvalued as the Packers are undervalued. In other words, we're ready to bury the Packers, and we haven't seen Jordan Love yet. And we want to move the Bears up into that conversation. And could it happen? It might. This by far, there's 4 teams here in this division. Call me stupid. You can do that here. Call me stupid. All 4 of these teams could win the division. All 4 of these teams could finish ass last in this division.
And see, you just beating me to the punches and stuff now, dude. And that's what I know about this division. That's why when we talk about this next team, I'm really gonna fry because I don't understand why they are minus on this situation. But my point with the Bears is this: if the Bears can get their defense to be a top 15 defense, the Bears got a shot. They got a shot. And I think the elements that Justin Fields brings, he's only going to be better this year. He's not going to regress. He's going to be better. And I sat there and watched Justin Fields for 2 seasons at Ohio State. Everybody knows I'm a big Buckeyes fan. And Justin Fields, I'm not, this might be something that sounds crazy right now, but nobody has ever played the quarterback position at Ohio State like he did. I don't care what anybody says. Justin Fields used to make me very comfortable every time he stepped on the field. Literally, even in the Clemson and Alabama, even in the Alabama blowout and all that stuff, I was still confident that they could win that game just because how good Justin Fields was. Justin Fields got a good touch pass. He got a good IQ. The guy has a brain. And that's why he's able to make those crazy runs and crazy plays because he's an ad libber. And all the guys who know how to ad lib, those are the great ones, Jeff. And you know this. And a lot of times you need a struggle to become a great player. Look at the San Francisco 49ers. Nobody ever asks about Joe Montana's rookie season. You know, he's splitting reps with Steve DeBerg, and they were the worst team in the NFL. So there's a lot of things that people just don't understand about great careers. And I think Justin Fields is a guy that's in the process of having a great career. His first year, he had a bad coach for him. Because Nagy wasn't a bad coach overall, he's a bad coach for him. And then you bring in Abelius, this guy from Indianapolis, who wants to make sure that he impresses upon the ownership that he is intrigued by the quarterback and that this quarterback, he's not worried about that he wants to develop the quarterback. And that's exactly what they did. He saw what he did best and said, go ahead and do it. But they've worked on things as well, too. And that's why I said that Chicago, it's all based on your defense because your quarterback, I think Fields can get you 6 wins by himself, but he's going to need some help to get over that hump of 7.5 games. That's how I'm feeling this year. They'll be way better than 3-14 this year. We all know that. And they do have weapons. They got a good little running game going. And then their wide receiver game has stepped up big time. DJ Moore. And we all know that they were pumping up his other receiver, my man from Pittsburgh. They were giving they were trying to make him the next Pittsburgh Hall of Famer, Claypool, before he showed how lazy he was there. And pretty much now Claypool's in Chicago with Justin. So it should be something that's going to be huge moving forward for the Chicago Bears because they have some actual playmakers. This is the first time that you've seen the Bears with an actual feasible, hey, this is kind of a good offense situation. They always have flaws on the offensive end, and it's usually at the quarterback position, but they don't have that anymore. So when you get the Bears to have a better than good quarterback, it always works out for them. And that's why we know that the Bears, like you said, you cannot sleep on them at all. You can't say that the Bears are going to still be a bad team because they didn't do all this maneuvering to still be a bad team. And it's that, and that it is what it is at the end of the day. It's going to wind up being a very, very fun season for the Bears, and I look forward to it. I can't wait till week 1 when they play the Packers. Now I'm got myself pumped up for that game. Now, Jeff, I'm telling you, that's going to be a good game come week 1. And you know what? When you think about the North, before we go into the Lions, when you think about the North, it's a beautiful day in the North because this is the first time in about 20 some odd years where you don't have Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers playing for the Packers. And this is the first time since about 1993 that you could say everybody in the division has a chance, not named Packers. That's how long the Packers have kind of ruled this division in a sense. You know what I mean? We know they haven't won it every single year, but we know that they've been the most talked about team in the division every single year. So let's move forward and